coding 要唱长的。The older brother, still sleeping in bed, is woken up by his stepmother's son, who's not blood related, given their relationship has always been tense. Brother Haixin just tells him to stop acting dumb, but gets a tongue lashing from his younger brother, always acting so calm and collected. But you're two-faced. I don't even want to breathe the same air as a guy like you. After saying this, Shangxin grabs his mom's arm and leaves Haixin's place without looking back. But this morning, a call from his father brought grown-up Haixin to a coffee shop to see his stepmother again after a long ashy face. And sure, his stepmother all smiles with his dad. He gets a bad feeling. Sure enough, after some small talk with his stepmother, Haixin gets she's about to get to the real reason she asked him here today, saying her son Shangxian is coming over soon. This might be sudden to bring up now, but he really has nowhere else to go. If you don't mind, we hope he can stay at your place for a while. His father sitting nearby said. Haixin just agrees with a smile after hearing this. His stepmother picks up from to check the time. Shangxian was supposed to come but looks like he backed out. Haixin thinks back to what happened before. He really wanted to refuse, but with his father being the head of the family, he has no choice but to accept. Suddenly a phone starts buzzing. His stepmother across from him thinks it's her phone and searches through her bag, while Haixin presses down hard on the phone in his pocket. But the buzzing gets stronger, so he has to suddenly stand up, making an excuse that he needs to step away to take a call. After Haixin gets to the restroom, he knows it's his friend Jinzai and caller. He picks up and chews him out, because they had agreed it was just a quick call to help him get out of there. After Haixin washes his hands and is about to leave, someone slowly approaches him from behind. Looking at the tall, imposing figure in the mirror, Haixin freezes on him, and that person is even side-eyeing, making him even more nervous. But this person next to him, with short hair and fierce eyes, to put a bluntly, looks like he just got out of jail. But analyzing his features carefully, he must be the reckless, domineering type. Could it really be his fifth stepmother's son? Malicious brat. Shangxian, who's come back. Tonight he even has to fake being sick to comfort the blonde guy. Haixin's having quite the day dancing on the knife's edge. But Haixin's gut has already decided it's Shangxian. When he gets back to the table, his stepmother mentions Shangxian also went to the restroom just Haixin just sits down mentioning a guy who passed by. When someone slams a backpack hard on the table behind, it's Shangxian. Still with that attitude that irritates Haixin, fake smiling while praising his brother for becoming such a handsome guy. But high and mighty Shangxian looks completely dismissive, noticing his mother's unhappy expression. Shangxian hesitates a moment, frowning while half-heartedly responding to hate. Then Haixin mentions where he lives. It's really far from school. But the mother across from them can't sit still. His mother still won't agree to that. Although his father also agrees Shangxian can live with Haixin, Haixin internally is 10,000% against it. But Shangxian, the mama's boy, falls into thought, pulls out a cigarette wanting to take a couple puffs. Haixin tries to stop him but gets snapped at again. Even his parents can barely watch this. Haixin has no choice but to force down his D-spot. Shangxian, come live with me. That night, feverish Haixin can't sleep. Suddenly there's knocking at the door. Even though he has a spare key, he rings the doorbell, making Haixin really annoyed. When little Jing walks into the living room, Haixin knows he got cheated on again and says it's because his personality is so bad, so getting cheated on 100% of the time is pretty normal. But he's always nice to his lovers. Maybe that's exactly why little Jin thinks others will stay loyal to him, and he'll love them devotedly. But Haixin tells him people are unpredictable. Haixin wants to kick him out, but the calmer little Jin slowly gets closer to Haixin and plops down on Haixin's lap. I've been sick all afternoon. Are you using my fever to warm yourself up? Little Jin says he thought with a body this hot, could you be a heater? Haixin's face turns red, pulls his leg away and drops his head on the floor. Then little Jin asks why Haixin is so worried. Haixin tells him what happened today. That annoying brother of his is going to live with him. The two drink and chat. Haixin also tells little Jin to hurry up and find someone new to heal himself. Little Jin says looks like he can't come to Haixin's place anymore. After all, if they do some exercise at home, when that fierce-looking brother sees them. Early next morning while Haixin is doing his reading, suddenly the doorbell rings. He opens the door and is stabbed, bringing his brother Shangxian to the door. Though Shangxian's face is full of reluctance, he still walks in with his mother's lead. And so their life living together officially begins. Having such a rude brother staying at home, Haixin works until late at night. Happy that his brother Zhang Shangxian isn't back, he gets ready for bed. But just as he comfortably falls asleep, deafening noise comes from next door. Haixin covers his head helplessly. As the man of the house, Haixin really can't stand it, and marches over to teach him a lesson, angrily pushing open his brother Shangxian's door, while he sees his brother lying in bed. Before Haixin can say anything, brother scolds him for not knocking. Haixin's then being patient, yelling at him to turn down the music because it's keeping him awake, and if he wants to smoke, he has to go to the balcony. Also throwing back at the rules he made for him to follow. Why drag others into it? Haixin argues there's not just him in this house. Are you pretending I don't exist? His brother smirks. The reason the music's so loud is because I'm pretending you don't exist. Haixin stands frozen for a few seconds and points at the door telling him to get out right now. But his brother's no push off. You're the one who told me to live with you. Now you want me gone. Not only making Haixin take risk, but if he moves out, Haixin has to find him a place first. Frustrated Haixin can only say if he doesn't turn the music down, he'll call the police to handle it. His brother gives a thing. Go ahead and call it you want. Haixin also makes his determination. If he keeps being so reckless, he'll have to send him to jail. At those words, his brother freezes, but then he turns the volume even higher and keeps provoking Haixin with his word. Haixin has no choice but to stomp back to his room all angry, and the following days are even harder for Haixin to bear, because his brother keeps making the house a total mess. What's worse is Shang Xian actually brings Wen home. Haixin plans to just ignore it, but the two keep making weird noises in the room. His brother, as he of course treats his words like they're nothing. What? You gonna call the cops again? Right now, Haixin really wants to chop him up. So angry he can't get a word out. He can only say goodbye to his once peaceful life. The next night, Shang Xian comes home late to the front door, but he can't get the door open no matter what. He knows Haixin must have changed the lock. Seeing his sleepy look, Shang Xian gets a bad idea, wrapping Haixin up tight in a blanket, then throws blanket Haixin out hard. Just when he's sleeping soundly at night, his brother Zheng Shang Xian barges right through the door and wraps him in a blanket and throws him on the floor. Haixin stares dumbfounded at Shang front of him, only to hear that flimsy door can't stop me. Then Haixin also learns Shang Xian works under brother Minze and plans to quickly find a place for him to move out. But little Jin across from him gets an unexpected visitor. But the shop isn't open yet, so he wants to send her away. The woman says she's waiting for someone. Little Jin agrees to let her sit down first. Also mentions the shop's gotten popular lately, with lots of older female clients coming, so you often see sponsors in the shop. Just as he says that, a figure walks into the shop. Haixin jumps, because it's the annoying Zheng Shangxiang. He clearly remembers this guy left this morning to meet a girl named Yuna. So why does he show up here? With that bright smile, it's so disgusting. So Haixin can only duck down secretly to avoid letting Shangxian see his true. Shangxian touches the woman's hair, complimenting her new earrings as really pretty. Hearing this again makes Haixin want to puke. Shangxian looks around at the shop's decor, also saying the overall environment and atmosphere are really nice, and invites her to go eat something first. Sneaky Haixin of course can't wait for them to leave. Suddenly little Jin gets up, and knowing that guy must be the brother Haixin mentioned, so he deliberately blocks him to avoid being spotted. She thinks the brother gives off a pretty good overall vibe, but thinking of little Jin's unique tastes, he quickly warns him not to mess with a straight guy with such a bad personality. But little Jin keeps praising Shang Xian's body, even fantasizing about doing unspeakable things with a handsome guy. Hearing this, Haixin smacks him hard, telling him to drop those evil thoughts. Before Haixin can figure out why Shang Xian showed up here, he hears Shang Xian apologizing to the woman. Shang Xian lies saying one of his friends just got dumped, and he wants to comfort his friend tonight so he can't be with her. The woman agrees with the Shang Xian without a word. Then Shang Xian leaves first. Seeing this scene, little Jin is stunned. Never thought your brother would be such a pro. Little Jin approaches the woman and asks her about Shang Xian, telling Haixin his brother does sponsorships. 是个备胎，没了个 disgusting things. After his brother found out about his sponsor, and he has to obey every command. Haixin gets home planning to make dinner. Suddenly hears the door opening. It's his brother Shangxin coming home too. Haixin thinks now that he's got dirt on him. When he directly asks him, "Don't drinking with your heartbroken friend. You're back pretty early." I'd like to meet this friend too. Said you were meeting Yuna, but ended up having a great chat with Miss England. Little brother's got some real skills. Hearing this, Shangxin angrily grabs Haixin by the collar. But he doesn't know Haixin actually went to the shop first to punish this disrespectful brother. Haixin's being choked and can't breathe, and swings a hard punch right at Shangxin's face, telling him not to bring those kinds of people home anymore, or he'll tell his hardworking mom back in the countryside. Of course Shang's not scared of him and bites back that he better not do anything stupid. Having dirt on him, Haixin's not backing down. Picks up his phone ready to call his stepmother, but Shangxin grabs his arm again, trying to smash Haixin's phone. But even if he smashes this phone, Haixin still has ways to tell his stepmother, so Shangxin has no choice but to give it. I got it. What do you want me to do? Then Haixin prepares dinner and assigns Shangxin to fix the bathroom, but worried that guy might just demolish the bathroom. He goes to supervise and see how the work's going. Also says the housework and laundry will all be Shangxian's job from now on. Hearing Haixin treat him like a complete housekeeper, Shangxian's hands shake with anger. Soon enough, Haixin finishes making dinner, even teasing Shangxian that he must have already eaten with Miss Yuna. Hearing this, Shangxian can't hold back his anger anymore, down his tools and jumps. But Haixin wasn't scary at all. Accent changed clothes and chased him to the dining, only to be scolded by Haixin to remember to call him brother from now. Angry Shangxin slammed his fist on the dining table, which sent the delicious rice bowl flying onto the floor. Haixin picked up the spilled rice and threw it at him, demanding he eat every bit. Told him to remember to wash the dishes and sweep the floor when done. Shangxian was frustrated but had no way to fight back. But facing his brother who had dirt on him, he could only eat every last bit of the food off the floor. The younger brother was fed up with his older brother bossing him around like a maid. Even though Haixin had leverage over him, he'd had enough and decided to leave this place. In the living room, Haixin scolded Shangxian for not washing the sofa cover yet, and Shangxian said he already sprayed deodorizer on, and it was already clean anyway. Haixin picked up the spray bottle from the floor and hurled it at Shangxian's head. I said wash it, not just spray it and call it a day. Shangxian was getting worked up. The sofa's clean, so what does it matter how I did? Plus this kills germs and removes odors, isn't that even better? But Haixin still ordered him to take it off, or go wash it in the bathroom by stepping on. In his anger, Shangxian punched the towel wall next to him and shattered it. Haixin's face instantly showed fear, But when Shang Xian stepped on the broken pieces to get into the bathtub, Haixin quickly stopped him and rushed to clean up the tile fragments scattered on the floor. Shang Xian thought his brother was worried about him, but he didn't expect. Haixin did that because he didn't want him stepping on the sofa cover while injured. When Shang Xian was about to step into the tub, Haixin stopped him again. Turns out he was rolling up his pant legs. Then he told him to stomp on it 1,000 times before hanging it out to dry. And after that, he still needed to clean the balcony windows. Shang Xian was working hard wiping. Haixin slowly reached out and tugged at the rag in Shang Xian's hand, praising Shang Xian for being pretty good at cleaning windows. Remember, you gotta use some elbow grease to get it really clean. Shang Xian noticed Haixin smiling at him, and it gave him the creeps. Didn't think this guy's smile could be so annoying too. I wanna spit right in his face. Then Shang Xian turned and left the balcony, huffing that he was going back to stomp on the sofa cover, then hang it up to dry. But Haixin kept piling on more chores, telling him to take out the trash while he's at it, and gave Shang Xian's shoulder a patronizing pat. Haixin was seething with rage, couldn't take this kind of life anymore. So he said he was moving out. No way could he keep living with a brother like this, and he was leaving today. And from now on they'd pretend they didn't know each other. Haixin's expression turned slightly displeased. She thought maybe he should have just bought a chicken instead. Shang Xian threw down all his keys to the house, grabbed his backpack and was ready to leave. But after sneaking a glance at the delicious chicken Haixin had stewed, he immediately turned around and picked it. Meanwhile, Haixin was wondering what to do with the extra chicken. It wouldn't taste good if he put it in the fridge overnight. So he picked up the phone to ask Jinji if he wanted some. Barely 2 words into the call, Shang Xian dropped his backpack and rushed over, snatching the phone right out of Haixin's hand. Ever since the younger brother moved in, they'd been at odds. Fed up with being treated like a maid, the younger brother said he was leaving. And then heard Haixin calling someone to give the chicken away, which really ticked him off. He grabbed the phone and demanded to know why he was calling someone else. You're really heartless. Worked me like a maid all day. Now, you wanna kick me out on an empty stomach. But what Haixin did next totally caught him off guard. Haixin suddenly looked out, a big smile on his face. Then stay and eat before you go. So right after finishing the chicken, Shang Xian packed up to leave. But Haixin still made him wash the dishes first. A big guy like him can't just eat without doing anything. And it was exactly this fierce look while doing chores that Haixin found strangely adorable. So with his delicious food as bait, Shang Xian decided to stay. Plus, Shang Xian was scared of his mother. Whenever his stepmother called, Shang Xian always looked nervous. Seeing his tense expression, Haixin knew he had complete control over Shang Xian's weakness. The puppy training mode was officially on, and things could finally get back to normal. After that, they started splitting household chores. This week it was Shang Xian's turn to mop. Of course, he was part of the household now, so he politely let Haixin know in advance. But that next week, his club friends were coming over. The next day rolled around. Haixin crawled out of bed at 3 p.m. remembering everything that happened last night. Late at night, Haixin was still reading when he suddenly got a call from a coworker, saying there was an important file he needed help organizing. After some hesitation, Haixin agreed, but what he didn't expect was that this favor would take all night. Early in the morning, Haixin dragged his exhausted body out of the study, but the scene before him suddenly piqued his interest. There was Shang Xian, shirtless, chugging water. He also noticed Haixin looking at him, then nicely asked if he'd pulled another all-nighter. But the response he got was being scolded not to drink straight from the kettle, since he wasn't the only one drinking from it. Drinking like that is so gross. But Shang Xian didn't care about those details. Haixin sat at the table and asked why he was shirtless this early in the morning. Shang Xian had just gotten back from a morning run. The Haixin's eyes were drawn to his physique, remembering what Jinji once said. Shang Xian's body really was flawless. Haixin's eyes were practically sparkling with a sweet smile. But Shang Xian noticed what Haixin was doing, flashing Haixin a sweet smile over his shoulder. But once again got bossed around. What are you staring at, dummy? After drinking, remember to wash the cup and put it away. After pulling an all-nighter, Haixin was exhausted, in terrible shape mentally. He flopped down on the sofa, thinking he was the only one home right now. He pulled out his game console and played games alone in bed, but suddenly images of Shang Xian popped into his head. Haixin instantly lost interest in gaming. He snapped himself out of it and kept playing. Finally, after arguing with himself, he quickly ended the game. Of course, remembering the younger brother said he was bringing friends home. Haixin had just finished washing up and was about to rest when he heard noise outside. Shang Xian had brought his friends home, but when Shang Xian saw Haixin in a bathrobe, dripping wet, he had a weird look on his face. He then introduced him as the older brother he was living with. Shang Xian got his friends settled in the living room drinking and chatting. Turns out these guys were all sketchy punks. The chubby one with gray hair was especially sleazy. Haixin in his room was suddenly called out to pour them water, looking annoyed, wondering whether to go out there. He heard Shang Xian making excuses saying my brother's got a bad attitude, better not call. Haixin instantly got pissed. Right then Shang Xian pushed open the door, though he was kinda sticking up for Haixin. But seeing their rough looks, Haixin felt like a bunny in a tiger's den, and they all seemed vicious with foul mouths. He accused Shang Xian of doing this on purpose, but Shang Xian shot back that he'd given him a heads up. Haixin was furious, feeling like he had no authority in his own home. This guy screws up, but acts like he's the victim. Suddenly Haixin's mind flashed back, remembering scenes from when he was gaming earlier, which made him feel nauseous. He couldn't even look Shang Xian in the eye anymore. The nausea made him lose his edge in the standoff with Shang. Shang Xian crashed down, asking if he felt sick somewhere. Guilty, Haixin panicked, accidentally punching Shang Xian hard in the face, knocking Shang Xian straight to the ground. Then Shang Xian got up, demanding to know what the hell was wrong with him. If you're scared, why the tough guy act? After they both calmed down, he told Haixin as long as he was polite, those guys wouldn't mess with him. But when Haixin thought about him bringing punks into their home, Haixin lost it again, yelling at Shang Xian. Shang Xian couldn't say a word back. Haixing just glared at his clueless younger brother. After a moment of silence between them, Shang Xian figured maybe he'd had too much to drink. That's why he said those things to his brother. Suddenly Shang Xian started slapping himself in the face, trying to snap himself out of it. But Haixing looked totally stunned. This brother must have a screw loose. Always thought Haixing was a good boy, but tonight really opened my eyes. Shang Xian's face was still stinging from slapping himself. When Haixing asked if he had masochistic tendencies, Shang Xian got mad and went off on Haixing. Just then his friend from outside came in calling him, which cooled them both down a bit, and Haixing stopped pretending, marching right out to deal with those punks. The punk leader noticed Haixing too. Haixing sat down right next to him. While the punks were still surprised, Haixing slammed down his glass and said, "Fill it up." The big guy stared at Haixing for a while, filled his glass and recognized Haixing as Jinzi's friend. Haixing realized this was Minjie. So they started talking about Shang Xie. Haixing was trying to figure out how to answer. Just as he was about to say he was Shang Xing's brother, Shang Xing cut him off, explaining he was just crashing here temporarily. Big brother Minjie's eyes were full of knowing. The two brothers kept bickering under their breath. Haixing felt super uncomfortable and wanted to get rid of these guys fast, raising his glass and downing it in one gulp. Right after it went straight to his head and his face turned red. Minjie, seeing him so bold, considered him a friend. Just as Minjie was about to say Haixing was Shang Xian's boyfriend, Haixing quickly shouted, "Big brother." So, everyone was confused. Minjie happily poured Haixing more drinks. After Haixing downed several shots, the party finally ended. But Haixing overdid it. His head was spinning and he almost hit the floor. Shang Xian hoisted him over his shoulder, just wanting to dump him in the bathroom to puke. He gently set him down by the toilet. "Since when do you drink like that? Just puke if you need to." Haixing was still being stubborn, saying he could totally handle those punks. If he could live with such a scary-looking brother, there was nothing left to fear. Then Shang Xian tried to make him throw up, using his thumb to trigger his gag reflex. Haixing could barely breathe. Shang Xian knew he'd achieved his goal, even though he got slapped a bunch. At least Haixing could throw up and sleep well tonight. Of course, Shang Xian's actions today made Haixing feel warm and safe. Looking at Shang Xian's fierce face, he actually thought he looked pretty handsome. Feeling shy, he figured it was just the alcohol messing with his head. His younger brother, who always fought with him, actually took care of Haixing today. Even called to check on him when going out. Haixing was flushed red from one drink. The younger brother felt his forehead and realized he had a fever. He wanted to help, but Haixing left him in the bathroom and went back to his room. After cleaning up the living room, Shang Xian went to Haixing's room, and as soon as he opened the door, Haixing complained, "You know I'm resting, so don't wake me up." Shang Xian mocked you for making a big deal out of a little fever. Such a drama queen. Shang Xian slowly crouched down, feeling his face way harder than before. That's when he realized Haixing was really sick. Haixing pushed Shang Xian's hand away. "If you know, then stop touching." Shang Xian muttered that he cared and still got yelled at. Haixing couldn't believe that his fierce-looking brother actually worried about him. Later, Shang Xian brought a cup of hot water, helping Haixing sit up and drink. Then he pulled out the medicine box looking for fever reducer, but Haixing said he was tired and didn't need medicine. But Shang Xian told him to listen and take the fever medicine first. When he thought about the fever medication, Haixing looked mortal, because the fever medicine Shang Xian was the same one his father used on him last time. Haixing knew he was in trouble. Sure enough, Shang Xian to try the suppositor. Haixing said he'd never used it, trying to brush it off, and Shang Xian didn't push him. But seeing Haixing suffer from the fever, he decided to have him use the suppository first. So an embarrassed Haixing kicked out Shang Xian to apply it himself. After using the suppository, Haixing woke up the next day fever-free. Early in the morning, he got a call from Jinzi. The two chatted about last night's house party. He's planning to recommend Shang Xian to his bro Minzai. But he looks pretty manly. Plus, he's got tons of friends, so he's probably decent. But then he quickly dismissed that thought. Blamed himself for having him on the brain. But as he got out of bed, the phone rang again. Thinking it was Jinzi, he snapped and asked what he wanted now. Turns out it was Shang Xian calling to check on him. Especially called to see if his fever was better. Shang Xian问他了, "Is he worried about me? And he's bringing me porridge tonight." Haixing didn't know how to handle this sudden concern. After hanging up, Haixing couldn't shake it off. His annoying brother, then and now. Today he seemed so cute. Haixing was at home doing a puzzle. His brother Shang Xian walked in, talking on the phone. All that juicy talk really bugged Haixing. He made plans with some girl to meet Friday, all while messing with Haixing's puzzle. Total slacker vibes. After hanging up, Shang Xian sprawled out on the floor. Haixing said he smelled like sweat and told him to shower. But Shang Xian said he showered this morning and refused. Haixing reminded him his mom's coming Friday. Better call and cancel that date with England. Don't want mom feeling hurt after coming all this way. Shang Xian said mom's not leaving till Sunday. He can see her Saturday. Haixing chuck. To keep his sugar mama happy, he's willing to blow off his own family. As soon as he said that, Shang Xian shot up and stared at him. Haixing smiled slightly, promised to keep his mouth shut, and he'd figure out how to cover with dad and stepmom. Told Shang Xian to go ahead and see his sugar mama. Shang Xian then volunteered to buy a week's worth of groceries. Even though it's a lot, he had to suck it up. So Haixing didn't push it further. At least he's buying groceries for the house. Even his cursing seemed kinda cute. Haixing thought about the test he did with Jinji. He's the type who only sees one person wang qi xing zheng. Lately Shang Xian keeps popping into his head. If he actually fell for this guy, his life would be over. Then Shang Xian quickly felt his forehead, checking if Haixing's fever came back. Once he knew Haixing was fine, he relaxed. then suddenly told Haixin to stretch out his legs and lean back against the couch. Turns out Shang Xian wanted to rest his head on his lap. The room felt so quiet and peaceful. Song Shangson woke. Wei Xiao Haixin was passed out against the couch. Lately Haixin hasn't been freaking out on him as much, and he smiles now and then. He doesn't snap back at Haixin about everything anymore, and when Haixin's sick he's super obedient. Just takes care of him like a puppy and makes sure he takes his meds. He's even twisting their relationship into something else. But deep down he knows. Warm moments like this feel like a dream. Soon Shang Xian's mom arrived. At dinner Shang Xian wasn't there, but hearing Haixin say he's reliable. Mom hadn't smiled like that in forever. Before saying goodbye the next day, she reminded them to get along. There aren't many people as good to him as Haixin. Finally they put Mom on the bus home. The two headed home to cook and rest. This brother with his fake smile, Xia, gave Haixin a tap. Said he's gotten used to Haixin's delicious cooking. After sending Shang Xian's mom off that day, they took a cab to the supermarket. Haixin was forced to come along and help Shang Xian shop, pushed Shang Xian to take the cart. Shang Xian just huffed and went along with it, even said Haixin's baked pasta is incredible. Even the store-bought stuff can't beat his. After buttering him up, he said he wanted seafood, so they picked out a full cart and headed to checkout. Beep after beep at the register. All this food could last 4 or 5 days, but this time Haixin didn't complain about Shang Xian eating so much. Instead, worrying about Shang Xian like this gave him the chills. Shang Xian just pulled him close. Is the AC too cold? Here, let me warm you up. Too rough, Haixin shoved Shang's hands away. Shang Xian quickly apologized all flustered, stumbling over his words like a kid. Haixin thought this guy was actually kinda cute, but quickly shook his head to stop the fantasy, then stomped off ahead. So Shang Xian called up and talked about a recent dinner. Said the food was terrible. Judah looked an appetite, and since he's used to Haixin's cooking, he can't eat anything else. 一只手来的更 he 飞得蹦跶 and patted Haixin's head for a while. Haixin stopped him and asked what that was about. Shang Xian just said shyly he just wanted to pat him. He wondered why this guy keeps doing weird stuff lately, and always looking all shy. Is he overheated or something? Not long after eating, Shang Xian said he was hungry again, so Haixin offered to make him something fresh. But Shang Xian insisted on eating the leftover bimbap from the sh. To avoid awkwardness, Haixin sat and watched him wolf it down. Then Shang Xian's phone suddenly rang. Haixin could tell it was one of his sugar mamas. Shang Xian put down his bowl and made plans to meet up with her soon, all smiles. Haixin just said, wow, you're really popular, Shang Xian. Shang Xian snapped back. Complained his weekend got wrecked by grocery shopping. Haixin suggested he quit that kind of work. Shang Xian shot back, how else is he gonna buy a house and get married? Haixin almost laughed himself sick, asked what girl would want a house bought with that kind of money. Shang Xian replied, doesn't matter how you get the mouse as long as you catch it. Then he got up and left. Haixin was home alone taking a shower. His brother came home early and discovered his secret. That night Shang Xi's date ended early because his sugar mama had an emergency. So Shang Xian had to cut the date short and head home. He figured Haixin was already asleep. Little did he know Haixin was standing stark naked in the bathroom, imagining Shang Xian on his date, wondering how he'd please his sugar mama. Then suddenly the bathroom door burst open. It was his brother Shang Xinhong. Panicked, Haixin yelled at him to get out, but Shang Xian already saw exactly what Haixin was doing. I told you to get out. Can't you hear me? Shang Xian got blasted by the shower head, slipped, and fell hard outside the bathroom. Haixin quickly slammed the bathroom door, but Shang Xian wasn't giving up, wanting to confront him about what he saw. Haixin knew his brother saw him doing, could only brace the door shut, but Shang Xian kept pounding on it. If you won't open it, don't blame me for what happens next. 的光当生物撞开 Shang Xian slammed the bathroom door open. Haixin fell to the floor. Shang Xian smirked and said someone with no girlfriend was doing that. Haixin snapped, you went through all that just to ask me this. Shang Xian complained seeing that at night really killed the mood. Haixin's face was red, barely managed to say, you're the one who insisted on barging in. Then Shang Xian crouched down and said no need to be embarrassed. He already knew Haixin liked playing solo. Haixin grabbed the shower head again to chase Shang Xian off. This time Shang Xian got the hint and left, but reminded him not to beat himself up about it. The next morning Haixin was lost in thought. Saw Shang Xian leaving and reminded him to lock the bedroom, but Shang Xian didn't care. Teased Haixin, worried about getting caught doing that again. Haixin was fuming. Then he called up Jinzi. Wanted Junji to set him up with someone. Shang Xian overheard and got pissed. This guy's asking for a hookup too. Stared at Haixin on the phone. Haixin said just find someone polite. Nothing else matters. But this just made Jinji laugh at him. And Shang Xian kept mocking him non-stop. Haixin wanted to break his solo habit, so he asked Jinji to set him up. But his brother Shang Xian scoffed at the whole thing, so Haixin went off on him. Told him he acts like a player, I better worry about himself. But as he left for his stage, he ran right into Shang Xian coming home from school. Shang Xian had afternoon classes. Why was he home already? Turns out Shang Xian skipped class. As his brother he liked, but Shang Xian had no interest in study, only cared where his date was. Haixin just gave him the general area and rushed off. The date was at Jinji's shop. Jinji loved hearing about Haixin getting caught. Asked for all the details, but he still didn't get why Haixin suddenly won the blind. The reason every time he does that he thinks of Shang Xian, so he needs to find someone to get that guy out of his head. Jinji suddenly didn't want to set him up anymore. 他约会为的还从 It was Shang Xian desperately looking for him, but no matter how much he asked, Haixing wouldn't tell him where he was. Soon the guy Jinji set him up with arrived. They both sat in silence. Dating guys still felt awkward. But if it were Zheng Shangxian, it might be better. The guy across from him pointed out his phone kept ringing. Haixing knew it was Shangxian and didn't want to answer, but when he saw the angry text asking why he wouldn't pick up, Shangxian was already standing in front of him. Shangxian had run all the way there drenched in sweat. Haixing was not happy to see him. Shangxian, teeth clenched, yelled, "Why didn't you answer?" Haixing snapped back to keep it down in pulse. Shangxian's fists were clenched, so mad that he looked ready to throw punches. But one sentence from Haixing shut him up. Then Shangxian looked around for Haixing's date. All he saw were 3 guys. To avoid awkwardness, Haixing said the person wasn't a match and left. But since they already left, Shangxian demanded to know why he didn't answer. They fell into another endless argument. Haixing told him if he wants to cut ties forever, then keep fighting with me. Then Haixing got up and stormed out. Said goodbye to Jinji's friend on the way. Kept sneaking glances at Shangxian. Jinji told him to go, he'd handle it. But Haixing barely made it out the door. Shangxian came chasing after him, out of breath, said the guy told me to give you this. After ruining Haixing's date, his brother pretended to have a headache. Said it's all because Haixing wouldn't answer his calls. But if Haixing knew how desperate he was to ruin that date, forget food, he'd kick him out of the house. In Haixing's eyes, he's totally shady. Xin asked Haixing, "You gonna keep going on blind dates?" Haixing told him to mind his own business, and he knew Shangxian was thrilled about it. But Shangxian put on a dissatisfied face. He figured even if he didn't mess it up, no woman would want to date Haixing anyway. Haixing shot back that he better just stay home then. But Shangxian kept mocking him, said he wanted to see what the poor reject looks like. And it was exactly this kind of talk from Shangxian that made Haixing think he's really shady. Then they both got in a cab home. Next morning, Haixing woke up sore all over. After washing his handkerchief, walked up to Haixing, not to check on him. Just held out his hand and said, "Give me some cash." Thought with all his sugar mamas he's asking me for money, but Shangxian said his wallet got stolen yesterday. So Haixing just tossed him $100 and told him to pay it back tomorrow. Still couldn't help asking Shangxian what he needed money for. Said he's gonna buy some DVDs.